Want to speak real Japanese from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at JapanesePod101.com.
Hi everybody, Hiroko here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher where I'll answer some of your most common Japanese questions. The question for this lesson is, why is the hiragana ha sometimes read as wa? So when I introduce myself, I say, watashi wa Hiroko desu, meaning I'm Hiroko. The sentence has two wa sounds. The first one is written as wa, but the second one uses the hiragana ha. So what's going on with this? The hiragana ha is usually read as ha. For example, hai meaning yes, and hajimemashite meaning nice to meet you. However, when it's used as a particle, it's read as wa. The hiragana ha in the sentence watashi wa Hiroko desu is used as the topic marking particle. So you need to read this as wa, not ha. It's because the sound made by this character has shifted over time. The ancient Japanese people pronounced it as fa, but around the 9th century it began to be said as wa. Even though the sound changed, people continue to use the character in the same way when writing. However, after the war, the government decided to renew the spelling rules so that all ha letters read as wa sounds were replaced to wa, except the particles. So the particles keep their traditional spellings until now. So this letter is pronounced as wa when it's a particle, but also in one other common situation. When it's used as the last letter of the greeting phrases, such as konnichiwa meaning good afternoon and konbanwa meaning good evening. Those two use the hiragana ha at the end, but the sounds are wa because this wa was originally a particle. Other than the particle wa, the sound of wa is spelled as wa in hiragana. For example, wakarimashita meaning I understood. Got it? I'll show you one sentence in English and Japanese. Try to read it. Are you ready? The answer is 私は春が好きです meaning I like spring. How was it? Not that bad, right? I hope this makes sense to you and you're not confused the multiple readings of hiragana ha from now on. Do you have any more questions? Leave them in the comments below and I will try to answer them. またね! Everybody, Hiroko here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher where I'll answer some of your most common Japanese questions. The question for this lesson is, how often should I use watashi wa? So when I introduce myself, I can say watashi wa Hiroko desu, or just say Hiroko desu without saying watashi wa. Either of them means I'm Hiroko, and both are grammatically correct. So what's going on with this? If I introduce myself as simply Hiroko desu, it would be because it's obvious I'm introducing myself. When a subject or topic is obvious, we tend to omit it in the Japanese language. If you are with a group of strangers and you decide suddenly to introduce yourself, you can say watashi wa. But after you introduce yourself, you would continue talking without watashi wa since it's obvious you're talking about yourself. So, what do you say when you introduce yourself to new friends? I'd say, はじめまして、ひろこです。日本から来ました。よろしくお願いします。I don't say, 私はひろこです, but just ひろこです。And not, 私は日本から来ました, but 日本から来ました。No 私was at all. Because of the はじめまして, it's obvious I'm introducing myself. So I just said, ひろこです。So, when should you use watashi wa in a self-introduction? I join a party and my friend introduces his friend Hiromi to me. I notice she has a similar name to me. In this case, I'd say, Hiromi-san, はじめまして。私はひろこです with 私は. I'm emphasizing that I am and I am Hiroko because our names are so similar. I hope this makes sense to you and you can tell the difference between when watashi wa is necessary and not from now on. Do you have any more questions? Leave them in the comments below and I will try to answer them. またね! Hi, Hiroko here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher where I'll answer some of your most common Japanese questions. The question for this lesson is, what is the meaning of the word domo? You probably know that domo can be used as a casual phrase to say thanks. However, the phrase domo can also be used to mean hi, hey, or sorry, depending on the context. How can one phrase have so many different meanings? It's because domo is originally an adverb which emphasizes the following part. Domo can attach to arigato and emphasize your appreciation. Domo arigato, or thank you very much. Another one is domo sumimasen, meaning sorry. So when you just hear domo by itself, it's often because the second part of the phrase was dropped. Please note that for this reason, domo can sound a little bit rude. It's better to use the whole phrase, such as domo arigato or domo sumimasen, when you really want to express your appreciation or apology. It is especially rude to use domo to mean I'm sorry, so I'd recommend you avoid it. Say domo sumimasen instead. So, what do you say when you take seated but on the wrong one in the cinema and someone said, you are sitting on my seat? You'd say, domo sumimasen, and move down. Domo sumimasen is commonly used when your mistake is not a big deal. Another common use of domo is a casual hi or hey. It's more casual than konnichiwa. Men tend to say it twice, like, domo domo. Please note that you can use this domo in the office, but not to your boss or clients. So, when you see your neighbor and he says hello to you and you want to say hi, you would say, domo. I hope this makes sense to you and you're able to use domo more from now on. Do you have any more questions? Leave them in the comments below and I'll try to answer them. Mata ne! Everybody, Hiroko here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I'll answer some of your most common Japanese questions. The question for this lesson is, why is the hiragana u used to extend an o sound? You might have been puzzled by the way certain words are spelled in Japanese. For example, the word for good morning is spelled o ha yo u, but the actual sound is ohayo. The last two syllables, yo and u, aren't pronounced as yo u, but as yo with a long vowel o at the end. So what's going on with this? The long vowel o is pronounced for twice as long as the short o. There are two combinations to make this long vowel, which are two of the hiragana o characters in a row, and a character ending in an o sound such as ko or to plus an u. For example, oki is pronounced with the long vowel o because it has two o sounds at the beginning. Ohayo is also pronounced as ohayo with a long vowel o because the last two syllables o sound in yo and its following u makes a long vowel o. Any character with an o sound can be extended in this way by following it with an u. For example, arigato, meaning thank you, becomes arigato. How about to-u-kyo-u? It becomes Tokyo. In this word, the u is used to extend two syllables. Just remember, even though you can lengthen an o sound with another o or a u character will be used most of the time. Knowing this, you'll be able to make a good guess, but just like English, you need to learn the correct spelling of a word. How was it? I hope this makes sense to you and you were able to read the long O sounds correctly from now on. Do you have any more questions? Leave them in the comments below and I will try to answer them. Mata ne! Hiroko here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I'll answer some of your most common Japanese questions. The question for this lesson is, what is the difference between arigatou gozaimasu and arigatou gozaimashita? So, when your teacher lends you his book, you say arigatou gozaimasu. But when you return the book to your teacher, you might want to say the same thing again. ありがとうございます. Actually, you should say ありがとうございました here. So, what's going on with this? When you say thank you right after you receive kindness or favor from someone, you say ありがとうございます. But ありがとうございました is used when the action you're thanking for is completely finished. So, in the example before, you're done reading the book and you're giving it back. ありがとうございました. ございました is the past tense of ございます. That's right. It's just a verb and it conjugates the exact same way. That's easy to remember, right? Past tense verb to thank for something that happened in the past. So, what do you say when you're on a train and a man offers you a seat? You'd say, ありがとうございます. But then, when you get off the train and you want to say thank you again to him, you'd say, right, ありがとうございました. Because his favor was completed before. Okay, one more example. You're hosting a party. How do you say thanks for coming to your guest when they arrive? ありがとうございます. And when the party's over and your guest is leaving, how do you say thank you? ありがとうございました. I hope this makes sense to you and you're able to use ありがとうございます and ありがとうございました correctly from now on. Do you have any more questions? Leave them in the comments below and I'll try to answer them. またね! Everybody, Hiroko here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher where I'll answer some of your most common Japanese questions. The question for this lesson is, why do desu and masu sound like des and mas? You'll often hear the word desu as in hiroko desu or masu as in yoroshiku onegai shimasu. They're both spelled as two syllables, but the actual pronunciation sounds like des or mas without the u sound. So what's going on with this? The last u sounds are often left off in spoken Japanese. This often happens when the u sound follows voiceless consonants such as ku, su, tsu, or fu at the end of a phrase or between voiceless consonants. For example, masu, desu, or suki. When you say these words, you actually pronounce the vowel u, but the vocal cords don't vibrate enough, and you can't hear the sound u well. This rule also applies to mas form of verbs such as tabemasu, meaning to eat, mimasu, meaning to watch. Another example word with a voiceless u in the middle is sukiyaki, which is the name of famous Japanese food. This u comes between voiceless consonants s and k and becomes sukiyaki. So what do you say when you say good morning politely? Don't say ohayou gozaimasu. Just ohayou gozaimasu. One more example. What about this sentence? I like Japanese anime. You'd say 日本のアニメが好きです. Because the su sounds as in suki and desu become suki and desu. I hope this makes sense to you and you can use this tip to make your pronunciation even more natural. Do you have any more questions? Leave them in the comments below and I will try to answer them. またね! Hi everybody, Hiroko here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher where I'll answer some of your most common Japanese questions. The question for this lesson is, should I use Sumimasen or gomennasai? So, when you want to apologize, you know the common phrase is gomennasai. However, you may also know that Sumimasen means I'm sorry as well. So, when should you use what? It all depends on who you're speaking to. Sumimasen is the more formal word. It comes from an expression sumanai, meaning words are not enough to apologize for what I've done. You can use this in business or public space. Please note that people don't usually use this with their family and friends. By the way, when you want to express a sincere apology to your boss and clients, 申し訳ありません is commonly used. You can use gomennasai or gomen with your family and friends. Please note that gomennasai is not usually used in business occasions. Gomen is even more casual. So, what do you say when you break a cup at a cafe and want to apologize to the waiter? Unless the waiter is one of your friends, you would say, Sumimasen, because you want to show your apology but you see him or her in public space. You could say gomennasai here, but sumimasen is more common. Okay, one more example. You're running late for a meetup with your friend. When you finally arrive, you would say 遅れてごめんなさい, meaning sorry, I'm late. ごめんなさい is okay here because you're speaking towards your friend. You can say sumimasen as well, but it might sound too formal amongst friends. I hope this makes sense to you and you're able to use ごめんなさい and すみません correctly from now on. Do you have any more questions? Leave them in the comments below and I will try to answer them. またね! Hi everybody, Hiroko here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher where I'll answer some of your most common Japanese questions. The question for this lesson is the Japanese aru like an English R or L? So as you know, English R and L sounds are very different. When you hear arigato meaning thank you, or ramen meaning a type of noodle, you might wonder whether an English R sound is used or an L sound. So what's going on with this? Japanese aru sounds such as rarirurero are actually different from both an English R and the English L sound. When you say aru in Japanese, you lightly tap the roof of your mouth with the tongue. Don't roll your tongue. The tongue taps the same place that it does when you say d sounds. I'll show you the differences. Please listen carefully. English R sound is ra and English L sound is la. Japanese aru sound is la. Let's have a look at some examples. 嫌い ゆっくりよろしくお願いしますこれうるさい I hope this helps you with these sounds. Did you know that we have a whole series developed to Japanese pronunciation? If you're interested, check it out. Do you have any more questions? Leave them in the comments below and I will try to answer them. またね!
How are your Japanese listening skills? First, you'll see an image and hear a question. Next comes a short dialogue. Listen carefully and see if you can answer correctly. We'll show you the answer at the end.
会社で男の人と女の人が明日のプレゼンテーションの準備について話しています。女の人はこの後何の準備を確認しますか？
これでプレゼンの資料は OK だね。明日の会議は9時からだから、今日のうちに会議室の準備を確認しておくようにね。頼んだよ。
はい、もう先ほど会議室をチェックしてきました。
そう、それならよかった。プロジェクターの動作確認もしてくれたんだよね。
あ、それは明日の朝パソコンを持って行ってやろうと思っていました。
ダメだよ。明日の朝問題があっても対応できないじゃないか。ちゃんとやっておいてくれよ。一番大切な点だよ。
はい、わかりました。
それから配布資料のコピーは OK だね。
はい、田中さんが今コピーしています。
他に何かあったかな？ホワイトボードも確認したね。
はい、
あ、それから書けないマーカーが置いてあることがよくあるんだよ。それ確認してくれた？
まだです。確認しておきます。
それもよろしく頼んだよ。
女の人はこの後何の準備を確認しますか？会社で男の人と女の人が明日のプレゼンテーションの準備について話しています。女の人はこの後何の準備を確認しますか？
これで プレゼンの資料は OK だね。明日の会議は9時からだから、今日のうちに会議室の準備を確認しておくようにね。頼んだよ。
はい、もう先ほど会議室をチェックしてきました。
そう、それならよかった。プロジェクタの動作確認もしてくれたんだよね。
あ、それは明日の朝パソコンを持って行ってやろうと思っていました。
ダメだよ。明日の朝、問題があっても対応できないじゃないか。ちゃんとやっておいてくれよ。一番大切な点だよ。
はい、わかりました。
それから、配布資料のコピーは OK だね。
はい、田中さんが今コピーしています。
他に何かあったかな。ホワイトボードも確認したね。
はい、
あ、それから、書けないマーカーが置いてあることがよくあるんだよ。それ確認してくれた？
まだです。確認しておきます。
それもよろしく頼んだよ。
In this video, you'll have a chance to test them out with a quiz. First, you'll see an image and hear a question. Next comes a short dialogue. Listen carefully and see if you can answer correctly. We'll show you the answer at the end. Are you ready?
男の人が会議で売上実績について説明しています。男の人がプレゼンで使っている2つのグラフはどれですか？
では、お配りした資料をご覧ください。左側のグラフは、過去3年間の弊社の売上高の推移と、今年の実績予想となっております。また、右側が、今年10月までの月別売上高の推移を示したものです。まず、左のグラフをご覧いただきますと、過去3年間、順調に売上は伸びていることがわかります。また、今年もこのまま順調に推移しますと、昨年よりも売上はさらに伸びると予想されます。次に、右のグラフを見てください。今年4月と8月に行ったキャンペーンの効果が十分に出ていることがわかります。
なるほど。ただ、その反動でどうしても5月と9月の売上は下がってしまいますね。
そうですね。それは多少仕方ないことかと思います。今年の年間売上の予想としては、このままいきますと、昨年を上回ると予想しています。
男の人がプレゼンで使っている2つのグラフはどれですか？男の人が会議で売上実績について説明しています。男の人がプレゼンで使っている2つのグラフはどれですか？
では、お配りした資料をご覧ください。左側のグラフは、過去3年間の弊社の売上高の推移と、今年の実績予想となっております。また、右側が、今年10月までの月別売上高の推移を示したものです。まず、左のグラフをご覧いただきますと、過去3年間、順調に売上は伸びていることがわかります。また、今年もこのまま順調に推移しますと、昨年よりも売上はさらに伸びると予想されます。次に、右のグラフを見てください。今年4月と8月に行ったキャンペーンの効果が十分に出ていることがわかります。
なるほど。ただ、その反動でどうしても5月と9月の売上は下がってしまいますね。
そうですね。それは多少仕方ないことかと思います。今年の年間売上の予想としては、このままいきますと、昨年を上回ると予想しています。
Hi everyone! Do you bow in your daily life? In Japan, we bow in many ways for different situations. Today, let's have a look how we bow in our daily lives. Let's go! There are three types of bowing. 会釈、敬礼、再敬礼。会釈 is a light bow when you greet or apologize to people. 角度は15度が目安。敬礼 in Japanese is known as salute, but this is also a name for doing a polite bow. This bow is commonly used in a business situation. 角度は30度が目安。最敬礼 is a most polite and respectful bow to show your deep appreciation or apologize. 角度は45度が目安。When you meet someone for the first time. リサです。
もとこです。
よろしくお願いします。
お願いします。
行きましょうか。
はい。
Say hi to a neighbor. よしよし。
こんにちは。
こんにちは。いってらっしゃい。気をつけて。
ありがとうございます。行ってきます。
When someone keeps the elevator door open for you. When you accidentally bump into someone. Do you know to bow in your daily? すいません。
すみません。
When you're at the job interview or audition.
リサさん、どうぞ。
失礼します。When you are at the reception. 本日はお越しいただきありがとうございました。お気をつけて。When you're apologizing at work.
まだ終わってないこれ。
大変申し訳ございません。今日中に終わらせます。When saying thank you to people who came to watch your show. Thank you so much for coming to my show. Thank you. 土下座。大変申し訳ございませんでした。When you're on the phone. はい、もしもし。はい。Here today's keywords and phrases. お辞儀 bow 角度 angle 種類 kind type. If you have more questions about Japanese culture, ask me everything on Ask Risa page. Japan won't have secrets for you anymore. Bye! うわ
ハリネズミが裸だよ。
リサです。
私は男ですって言った。
すぐ怒れないよ。これは。
すいません。ちょっと待って待って。It is important to know our custom on how to give or exchange business cards here in Japan. Let's learn how we do it today. これは名詞と言います。名詞 means business card in Japanese. It's not just a piece of paper with contact information, but something you need to treat carefully to show your respect for someone you get a card from. これは名詞入れと言います。名詞入れ means business card holder. This is a wallet for business cards. Japanese business workers have it. When to exchange business cards? When you meet someone for the first time, you exchange your business cards at the beginning of the meeting, not at the end. We usually exchange business cards while standing, so make sure to be prepared. How to exchange cards? 1. Hold your card with both hands, making sure to have the card faced toward the person you are going to greet. 2. Give your self-introduction briefly, your company name and your name. 3. Slightly bow and exchange cards. 4. Use two hands when accepting a business card. 5. After sitting at the table, put the card on your card wallet. Don't put the card into the wallet or pocket right away. 失礼します。こんにちは。すいません。ありがとうございます。Boo! If you're visiting the company, you should give your business card first. こんにちは。イノベーティブランゲージのリサと申します。よろしくお願いします。When you do simultaneous exchange, it is a little different. Simultaneous exchange is called 同時交換. When exchanging cards at the same time, use your right hand to give your card and receive card on your left hand. Now, let's look at the situation of us exchanging cards. では、よろしくお願いします。 ブー。同時交換の時は両手で相手に名刺を渡すのではなくて右手で渡しましょう。ラララカンパニーのリサと申します。
はははコーポレーションのゆうきと申します。
よろしくお願いします。
お願いします。
はははコーポレーションのゆうきさんですね。
はい。ラララカンパニーのリサさん。
はい、よろしくお願いします。These are the key words and phrases for today. 名刺 business card 名刺入れ business card holder 会釈 knot 同時交換 simultaneous exchange 会社名 company name 訪問者 visitors Click on the link in the description to fully understand Japanese body language and discover meaning of Japanese gestures. How was it? Now you can do 名刺交換 which means exchange business card in Japan. Good luck! If you have anything you want us to make a video about, please let us know in the comments. Bye bye! じゃあ今度のポケモン GO の設定場所なんですけども。
Want to speed up your language learning? Take your very first lesson with us. You'll start speaking in minutes and master real conversations. Sign up for your free lifetime account. Just click the link in the description.